Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerome Gamer. I am tuning in from the great state of Florida. It's 91 degrees out here and it's hot. I want to send a shout out to our brothers and the young folks in, I think it is the San Antonio Spurs that defeated the defending world champion Oklahoma City Thunders to make it to the NBA Finals. So now it is all between New York, the New York Knickerbockers, the New York Knicks, and the San Antonio Spurs. And that series starts this coming Wednesday. Tune in, Lord. It's going to be a dandy. Let us say hi to all of our friends who are following the World Cup. We got 6 teams that will be camping in Florida. We got England, we got Haiti, we got Cape Verde, we got Carrico, and we have Portugal. So Florida is where you want to be when it comes to the World Cup. You can see them. They have begun to practice. Some have begun to arrive. So the World Cup is in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have a lot to discuss. We are coming into what we call the week in review. We are going to go all the way back to Monday and then culminate on Sunday today, what's happening. So in the comment section, let us know what's going on in your hometown, where you are tuning in from. We want to know what's happening, what's on your mind. Let me welcome all of our great minds here. With me is the original Anthony Sid, the man who encouraged me to come on the show 4 or 5 years ago. Welcome, Sid.
Mr. Gilman, thank you. It's good to be here. And this is On Point. As always, I'm here to be on point, and I hope you will be on point.
This man is always off point. Even when Edward Doe was here, he will run. Let me welcome my co-host, Mr. Padmo. Michael Padmo, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been away for a little bit, just taking care of some business.
Yeah, we do
Glad to be
ANC in
back.
the news. ANC in the news, so you come. Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
No, the man in South Africa, they ran him out of there.
That all I can be looking for. But thank you so much. I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to discuss these topics that we have up for right now. Thanks.
Thank you. Let me go across the pond. The Great England team is going to be in Palm Beach, preparing in Palm Beach City, Palm Beach County. We're going to be here seeing how the boys look. Let me welcome Dr. Fidel C.T. Booty. How you doing there, Chief?
I'm good. I'm not sure whether it's a great. I'm not sure if it's a Great England team, but yeah, they will be there. We will try and see how well they do. But yeah, no, it's great to be here as always.
That's not a ringing endorsement. I don't think.
Yeah, I've never rang any endorsement of the English national team. I've never really supported them. In the last Euro finals, I was hoping that Spain won, and they did. The one before that, I was hoping Italy won, and they did. So yeah, I don't really support the English national team, but we'll see how well they do this year. But no, it's great to be here. I was hoping that Mr. Tower will be here tonight, and I see him in the room, so I'm excited.
Yeah, when we're talking about ungrateful ingrate, that is Dr. Booty's title.
Well, let me clarify that I make more contributions to this country than this country has made to me, so I don't owe them anything. Yes, so yeah.
You see how the refugee can talk. When you were over there, you were a refugee, they brought you all. Now all of a sudden, now you all that.
They didn't bring me and the team here.
You
I've
talking
made
like
more contributions to the country than they have made to my life. So no, yeah.
Okay, if you say so, let me go to Tower. Honorable Tower, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be here. And hi to my fellow panelists and hi to our viewers. I'm glad to be here. And yes, Dr. Booty is right. All of us here, if we think that we owe these countries anything more than they owe us, then we really don't know how the geopolitics and how we even ended up in these places. So yes, I agree with Dr. Booty, and I feel the same way.
In grade number 2, let me go to Victor Nambit. As for me, I will say I'm grateful to the United States for allowing me to come and actualize myself. I don't think, even in my own country, I don't think I would have been privy to do what I'm doing in this country. So I'm grateful. Are you doing that, young man?
Yeah, happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to all. Mike, it's good to see you back. Welcome. Let me say hi to also our audience. I think it's the last Sunday in May. It's good to have survived May. Now we're pushing June, but it's good to be here. Happy Sunday to all.
Excellent. Our young, vibrant, smart man, Elvis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Gaiman, and hello to the other panelists. Hello to you too, Mr. Padmore. Welcome back. Let me just say, you will never say that. You'll never say that. Champions of Europe. You will never say that. So I let how I let how PSG beat Arsenal yesterday. That the Bullying never won a European Championship and they will never win one. So thank God for that. It made my weekend so good.
Let me say something to the game. I think my name was mentioned. No, 1 minute. If you study the history of Liberia, and this is my opinion, and others might disagree, if the United States hadn't meddled in our country and killed Talbot, for example, your country would probably be way better than it is now, and you wouldn't have had to come here and be a slave in this.
Oh my God.
So again, listen to the English. I said my opinion, right? You don't have to agree with it, so there's no need to shout, right?
Yes,
so that's why a guy like me don't believe that I owed anything to England. I believe I've given way more than they have given me.
Okay.
I think I agree with Dr. Booty on this one. I think the Europeans owe Africa a lot. I mean, right now you see Macron all over the place. You know, he voted against the reparation bill advanced by Ghana. He joined the European Union. Now he was in Kenya I understand he's on his way to Ghana. They're losing the continent. Yeah, these people took a lot out of us. So I think I'm really on the side of Dr. Booty here. I think this continent owes him more than he owes where he is right now.
Without Europe and America, Africa would be starving right now. We will be in the dark
Vice
ages.
versa. Vice versa.
No, your government goes to these people hiding here to beg for money, loans that they won't be able to even function without.
The governments are not the continent. If the
No,
government
your country Liberia borrowing money from the World Bank. They forgave $2 billion of your debt when you came out of war. Are they evil people? Are they against your interests? And then you
So
put
let me
yourself back in debt, the
I
same
know
debt they
this is
forgave
not
for
the
you.
show, but
Okay, guys. Okay,
What are we,
guys.
what are we saying?
let me just say that this is not about the show, but Elvis,
Victor,
there's a lot of people
let me
who have
work.
misunderstood this. The IMF,
Listen.
the World Bank, and all these institutions,
Listen.
these are temporary relief. You can't stay with them forever. You go there, you get a little loan, you utilize it effectively, and then you move on. But our
Good.
people want to be with the IMF for time indefinite. That is where the problem is.
I know tomorrow Victor is going to get on that plane and go right back to Liberia and begin his life because he doesn't like what's going on here. He and Booty were going to get on that flight tomorrow and say, adios. Let me welcome my brother from Sierra Leone, Alio Kamara by way of Guinea and Foya. Welcome to Liberia.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Gilman. I'm a great man to have all of this background. That makes me more diverse than everybody on this show. But I want to specifically commend you today. For your consistency. I believe if you were not behind this show would have been dead by now. And I just want to say thank you for what you do.
Point of reference, is there any other show that's dead that you know of?
Yeah. They want
Come on, speak your mind. Let's hear you.
They want you supporting Liberia. You're sitting here and you try to tell us, or they owe us more. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are when it comes to our opinion. The day we all agree on something here that everybody agrees, the day the show will die. But that's why we are here. We have variance, we have differences, we have everything.
Let me touch on that topic a little bit.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me work on
Well,
it.
let's start the show now.
Listen, that part of the show. Let me work on Honorable Isma. Honorable Isma, welcome.
Hey, glad to be here, gentlemen, especially among these distinguished erudites. I really appreciate all of you, and let's see what we can do for our country.
Good. Honorable CA, when they praise you like that, they come and hit you low. So watch out. Ali, go ahead. You were in flight.
Yeah, look, when I hear stuff from my young brother Evans, something like, if it wasn't for Europe, you would have been in the Stone Age. It amazes me how innocent he is. And that's a beautiful thing. It's good to be innocent. When you're innocent, nothing really bothers you. Africa is what it is today, struggle to develop because a system has been put in place and infused into African that does not cooperate with the natural African system. We're all born in different areas, different genetic, different DNA, and there are certain things that works for us that don't work for them. There are things that works for them doesn't work for us. One of the ways they messed you up was the Bible. First, they started with the Quran and the Arabs. And then the Bible tells you Africans, that if you lay down home and pray to God, like Moses did and walk with the people from Egypt for 40 days, 40 nights. If you believe that, I got 3 mentions to say to you. But if you can just pray, put your hand up, manna from heaven will waste down on you. You believe that? They tell you if you pray to God, God will feed you.
You are giving false information, Mr.
Faith without works is dead. That's what the Bible preaches. The Bible didn't say you become faith afterwards.
Can we move on to our topic for the day, please?
Let him land so we can go because
already.
I have not landed.
That land so the manna can come down.
I'm not speaking my opinion to please anyone here. Be aware, I'm speaking my opinion.
The man will land the South China Sea. Don't wait for him to land. Let's move on.
Okay, so they use the Bible and the Quran to soften you. When somebody slap your ear, get on the other ear to slap it. But if you slap that ear, they bomb your entire continent. They fool you in that place. wait for me small. One of the biggest things that was designed.
Why can't call the Quran? Why
one of the biggest things that were
Gentlemen,
designed.
can we minimize the interruption because people watching it can turn them off, you know?
Go ahead.
I appreciate that. One of the biggest catastrophes that Africa that has been imposed on Africa, most people don't know, is this so-called capitalism. It's not for us. It doesn't work in America. It doesn't work in Europe, because if it works in America, you now have 1% of the citizenry working. So it's a system designed to control. They put it in the so-called World Bank. They put it in the so-called IMF. They supervise it, they monitor it, they create their own money, allow you to use it, but they can see your money. They can see their money even in your banks in your country. So you are under captivity, Mr. Morris. You are still under captivity. Slavery was condemned. They pushed it away. They found another way around slavery to hold you. You are at the mercy. Whatever they want is what you get. Don't think that they're doing you a favor. All of your concessions, they take 98, 90, 95%. And you say they're doing you a favor because you came here to get you a job and you make $10 per hour? Come on, man.
You get iron ore, you able to make steel. You get rubber, you get no rubber plant in your own country that women do it to you. You able to refine your own resources that women for.
Let's get down to business. We didn't have capitalism is not on the agenda today. What's on the agenda are three things.
Because we could discuss this at length, and there's a lot of misconceptions here. Some of it is correct and some of it is wrong, but
that's all right.
Not on the agenda today. So let's get back to
excellent, guys. We got 4 things on the agenda. We got the CSA boss, Kwamayo. We have the Ebola thing. We got President Joseph Joekai cabinet, and then we're going to have the privatization. The suggestion of privatizing most of our state-owned enterprises that are not working. It has not worked for the past maybe 100 years. One can deduce that it's not going to work for the next 100 years. So we're going to discuss that. But let's go to the first one here. Let me start with Anthony CA. The CIA board, Josiah, appeared at a political rally that sparked renewed debate about the COC, that is the conduct thing we are talking, code of conduct, and political participation in the spheres of the Liberian governance system. Boy, did we see a lot of sparks flying all over the place, rightfully so, to me. But that's why we are here. Mr. C, your take on this particular topic, and give us a little background, lay the framework before we go into this. How did this happen?
Thank you, Mr. Gibbon, and I want to welcome everybody to the show. Those of you joining, please share the broadcast. Yeah, there is a political movement put together by Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler. The name is NIMBO. NIMBO is an acronym that stands for National Independent Movement for Boakai. Its sole purpose, according to Thomas Fowler, is to re-elect Joseph Boakai as the next president of the Republic of Liberia. That is the only reason NIMBO was put together by Thomas Fowler, who happened to be a political actor. So if you see NIMBO, it is a political campaign for President Boakai to be re-elected. So NIMBO was having a launch, and the Director General of the CSA, Dr. Josiah Joekai Jr., who all of you know is like a family to me, was one of the officials who went there to attend it because he was invited by Thomas Fowler. And at the event, he was seen wearing one of the t-shirts of NIMBO. And so many people saw that as a violation of the code of conduct. The code of conduct is clear that, government officials, especially those who are appointed, cannot be engaged in political activity. And so people started raising accountability finger against him for being seen at the event, more so with a t-shirt, which in their understanding meant that he was engaged in political activity and that it constituted a violation of the code of conduct. One such person having to be Senator Amara Connor of Bapulu County, who wrote calling the CSA boss to book. And the CSA boss went and responded to Amara, and the Amara decided that he would take it even further. He took it to the Senate, and now the matter is before the Liberian Senate, where he pushed for Josiah to be invited to the Senate to answer questions, whether or not he did not violate the code of conduct. So that is what happened. My opinion is that I feel strongly that Josiah was in error for wearing a t-shirt of Nimbo. Now, but there are others who say that, well, there is the right, to associate. And he is a citizen, so he has the right, because they say it's guaranteed in the Constitution, that freedom to associate. And that the Fubi Henry is the one actually making the argument. Fubi is saying, look, this man has a right to associate with anybody. The Constitution of Liberia supersedes all other laws. And he contends that the code of conduct, that particular provision, is contrary, all right, to the Constitution of Liberia. So he is making the argument that Josiah has done nothing wrong. And, but for me, based on the code of conduct, I think my good friend and brother and family, Josiah, is in error. And the last point I made to give the rest of the panelists to weigh in is, I think Amara now is taking it too far. That's another point. That's another point that Full Hearing made.
Somebody.
That's Aliu trying to. Okay.
If you're not speaking, please mute, because we're getting some background things from you.
Yeah, for Aliu, he dropped off. So another point that Fubi made that I agree with is that Fubi is saying, look, if we should agree that Josiah is in violation, which Fubi disagrees with, it is the president or the ombudsman or the executive branch that should hold him accountable for a violation of the code of conduct. And not the senator or the Senate calling him why he is in violation of the code of conduct. So that is the debate, and it became a whole national discussion. And I feel strongly that Amara Connor is taking it too far. Why do I feel so? There are other reports, the most recent report that the GSC released from 2018 to 2024, about over 25 billion Liberian dollars, according to the auditor. Myself, I have question about that. I did a report on that. I don't believe that 23 billion Liberian dollars cannot be traced between 2018 and 2024. So, I mean, that's something for the auditor to be invited, or the institutions that have been implicated in this report, for them to, their heads to be invited. But I don't see Amara doing that. And Josiah was not the only official of government at that particular event. So why Josiah? Even though I agree that he was in error for wearing Nimbo t-shirt, he was not the only official. Why Josiah? Why not the rest of the officials, as I made, Mr. Gibbon?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the argument from the Josiah Joekai side. Now let me read the law to you before we get going. Let's look at part.
What do you mean that the argument for you asked me as a journalist to lay it all out? I gave you all the same the argument from Josiah's side.
You referenced Fubi Henry, and you said that was it. That's what I said. Not you, but they. But let me read the political participation and the rule of law. Part 4 says, Part 4 5.1 says, all officials appointed by the President of the Republic of Liberia shall not A, engage in political activities, canvass, or contest for elected offices. And then B, there you go. It says, you should not use government facilities, equipment, or resources in support or partisan or political activities. C, say you should not serve on a campaign team of any political party or campaign of any independent candidate. And then attached is Honorable Josiah Joekai own pledge, and I'm going to read it. He said, yesterday, December 11, 2024, I proudly signed the performance contract and code of conduct on behalf of the Civil Service Agency, CSA, with His Excellency Josiah Joekai Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia. Truly, the CIA is committed to total adherence to the terms and conditions of the two instruments. Mr. President, thank you for instituting these productive and accountability measures. This is the trap. It is quoted in law. There's nowhere in this code that it say if the president appoints you and he invites you to any event, you go. In our training, they say even if your boss tells you to commit a crime and you know it's illegal, you have the right to decline. Let me go to Honorable Victor Namwe. Victor Namwe.
And JV, don't try to monopolize the discussion. There's a piece I'm going to add so that everybody get it right. When the president suspended about 50, more than 53 officials.
450.
Yeah, 453, I think. Yeah, 453 officials for failure to declare their assets. Josiah Joekai, in his capacity as Director General of the CSA, he went after his colleagues and seized their salary because the time they were suspended, he decided, look, you're not going to get paid because you are suspended. You violated the code of conduct and you are on suspension, so you will not get paid. And he withheld their pay. And what did he do with the pay? He used it under the president program, saying one chair for a child, something like that. And he was able to secure chairs under the president program for students. That's what Josiah did. And so for him to come back and say this, that's where I disagree with him. Go ahead.
Victor.
So I was looking up here, August 13, 2024. The law mayor of the city corporation fired 3 employees upon the urging of the civil service director because they were participating in political opposition politics. You also just mentioned another reason, Mr. Sear, for which the outrage is so loud against Mr. Dr. Joekai, because he's a hypocrite. He has to practice what he's preaching. And the reason I believe that some of us are so disappointed is he has shown flashes of competence. He has shown flashes of courage. And we think there is a lot of potential there. But it looks as if now all of this is getting to his head to the point where he now feels he's an untouchable in this government. I saw his response to Senator Kone, and it's really, he missed getting the point. He said he's not a civil servant, but the code of conduct that Mr. Gibbon just read said nothing about civil servant. It's the presidential appointees. Of which, yeah, exactly. Of which is a part. So I get the point that, there have been instances where people have done what he did and they were not fired. But so what? We have to plant the marker somewhere. We got to begin from somewhere. And I've said here, I'll say it again. I like what he does at the CSA, but I think he has brought so much disgrace to this government. The president should fire him. He should be fired. He doesn't deserve to serve as the HR for the government of Liberia when he continues to violate the code of conduct. And not only that, he's unrepentant. He's callous. He's bluffing. And so that would be my all on that. Let the president fire him.
Good. Let me go to Dr. Booty. We're going back.
But all of them on the same side. Now it's time to bring somebody else from a different side. You can bring all the people from the same side.
Oh, my man, leave this stuff alone.
Listen, first in, first out. Go ahead, Dr. Booty. You were next.
Yeah, there's a few things I want to point out. So, firstly, I like the word Mr. Nangwe used, hypocrite, right? And I think Mr. C can be referred to on this platform right now as being a hypocrite as well, because he said that we shouldn't interrupt each other because the listeners don't like it. But every time Mr. Gimme says something, he jumps in and interrupts it, right? So either we're not interrupting people or we're interrupting people. So if you're saying we shouldn't interrupt, which I've tried my best not to interrupt tonight because you said that, and then twice you interrupted Mr. Game. First, when he referred to you as making a statement in support of Mr. Joekai, you interrupted. And then when he said, let's go to Mr. Nangbe, again, you interrupted, which again, you have to decide how you want to play the game. And I guess from the Unity Party standpoint, that's how you guys tend to exist, or that's how you believe you should be able to govern. Again, Mr. Kamara, you either listen or you don't listen, right? Because I know a few weeks ago, and I will make that point, Mr. Kamara said on this show that they don't care. And I will keep reminding Unity Party partisans about that. We don't care. The rule or the rules apply to everyone else, but not us. Right? That's exactly what is happening here. It is unfortunate, Mr. C, that you will come out here. I know he's your friend and he might be your brother and he might be your family man. The truth is the truth. People were fired, right, for doing this exact thing. They were fired for doing this exact thing. You cannot now turn around and say, oh, well, I'm not a civil servant. And that's besides the point. The rules should be upheld, irrespective of who it's going to impact. And in this particular case, he made a mistake, right? Apparently, from what I've seen, and I've heard you talk about him, and Mr. Nangbe and others have talked about the good job that he's doing. I don't follow him, so I can't really speak to how good a job he is doing. But even if he's doing the best job, right? Even if he's doing the best job, if he makes a mistake that requires his resignation or suspension or firing, he must be suspended, he must be fired, or he must resign, right? Because we cannot trust the system to be fair when it is not applied fairly to everyone, right? In this particular case, he has to go, right? There's no two ways about it. And Mr. CA, I respect you a lot, right? I really do respect you. But for you to come on here and say, oh, well, you know, and 450 people were suspended and he went and took their salary, that's his job. If you look, if I'm an HR director and they suspend Mr. Morris, sorry, Mr. Morris, for using you as an example, but they suspend him at my company, I'm not going to get him paid. I'm going to tell the finance department, don't pay Mr. Morris. You can't clap for me for doing the job that I'm paid a salary to do. And then you come and use that here as an example of how exemplary he is. Please, my brother, don't do that. The Liberian people are not that stupid. Neither are us on this panel. Thank you, Mr. Gaiman.
Thank you, Jimmy. I think you need to change your background because you're blending in. So
how about now? Is okay?
No, not yet. Going to another studio, but let me go to Tao. Your take on the issue.
Yeah, I really didn't follow this stuff much. Look at how I see this here. I think I heard when Joekai first went in and some George rap people got together and he was punishing them all over the place. And now he's changing his tune. But look at what I would say here. All the laws that were put in place by Ellen, these are some very dumb and stupid laws. These laws were meant for it to trap people, for it to trap the people who are the opposition and not the people in power. And you saw how it went. Okay, the president is a civil servant. The senators and representatives are civil servants. Anybody that work in government, you are civil servant.
Public
serve. You serve the people. So how you going to pass some law that people that work in the government cannot go to political gathering? That is where the first problem really is. This type of law should never have been passed. But Ellen put these things in place so that they could restrict the opposition, or that when they come to power, they use it as a means for them to weed out opposition so that they can put their own people in place. so that they strong arm you. You are not they straight jacket you and then looking for ways. But now, when you remove all the people from out of power, now when your own people are in power, when political rallies come out now and they get involved, then you want to try to explain it away. We saw them do that to Georgia people. We saw Georgia people trying to do that. So these laws, these are the place for me. I'm not going to really go into whether all of these guys are civil servants, all of them, including the president. So if the president can be there.
No.
Yes, the president
are not
is.
civil servants.
Jimmy.
They're not civil servants.
Jimmy.
They are elected officials.
Jimmy,
it's completely different than being a civil servant.
No, Jimmy, what he means is that we all work for the Liberian people.
They're civil servants.
I agree to that, but they're not civil servants.
Jimmy.
It's a specific
Jimmy, really aggressive today. Jimmy, not playing fun
civil
today.
servants. They are elected officials, not civil servants.
Stop interrupting me, please. This particular matter was even settled constitutionally by church people when Talbot never used to pay taxes because he didn't think he was. And church people, as a member of their house, went in and he was able to prove constitutionally, yes. And Talbot said, oh, I didn't know that. And that is how Talbot started paying taxes because he didn't think he was civil servant. They are civil servants. They work for the public. It's just that simple. Civil servants
doesn't mean
a
private individual has to pay taxes. Let's keep this academic. We can't just say anything.
It is academic enough.
But let you finish. I beg you.
We are not here for us to use opinion that you want to satisfy your own feeling. I'm stating what I'm stating. So the law itself is a dumb law that should never have been allowed.
Thank you.
It's like the thing that Ellen did.
Thank you. That's correct.
Hey, God,
no, he's saying something correct now.
Sleeping tablet. You don't have a problem. Go to the next person. Don't leave him. Don't leave him now. Let go to the next person.
Like the same law that they passed with the so-called tenure stuff. Ellen was there choosing her own people. She didn't restrict anybody. And then when she's ready to leave, she decided to entrench the people in all these major areas to strangulate the next government that will come in by introducing some tenure stuff. And when we came in, it became an issue. We are left, they harassing all through. I'm not a fan of Weir, but Weir tried to touch it. He didn't touch it. But what happened when they seen, I don't know how you call them, Liberty Party or UP, Unity, when they came back in, what happened? They could not even swallow the own pill. They started removing people. So these laws are not good. That is where the problem is. So me, I'm not concerned about the Joekai. People have to be able to assemble. People have to be able to show up at these places. Are you going to restrict the whole section of the people from being from? They're in a political organization. The government is political.
Yeah, but Mr. Taiwo, guys, let's keep it to 2 minutes. We got a lot of folks here.
So that's about it.
Yeah,
so we challenge the law. The law should be repealed.
We are not talking whether it is the law or it's not the law. We're talking about now that the law is on the book. Is the law being followed? Whether
the law is a gun law, it cannot be followed.
Let me go to Aliu. Come on.
Yeah. First of all, Josiah Joekai, if I was Josiah Joekai, I would not even go to the Senate when they call me because it's a complete nonsense. There is an entity, a statutory entity, that is responsible to enforce the code of conduct. If you want to invite somebody because somebody broke the code of conduct, you go through the agency responsible to enforce the code of conduct. That's one mistake on those guys' part. They're looking for something to do. And furthermore, if you say Josiah Joekai participated in political issues or with a political group, now it can't just be a conspiracy theory or mere opinion. You have to prove that this particular group, I'm not saying how you feel, how you see it, or how you interpret it. You're going to have to prove that this group is a political entity. Another thing you have to prove also, did Josiah Joekai ever use any government property to this occasion? You also have to prove that. In this gathering, what is Josiah Joekai's position? Is he canvassing for something? you also have to ask those questions.
And why do we need to do all that? Why should we go through all that? No, we don't need to do that. He's wasting our time. I disagree with that.
They probably don't get problems. They probably don't get serious
issues. Investigation. The men appear. The Senate has the right to conduct hearings. What do you mean? They have the right to invite him and question him. He's employed by the government of Liberia.
That's the whole side. That's the whole,
man. Please.
What wrong with it?
Go ahead.
What wrong with it? Listen to this. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Mr. Conan has no ability to enforce the code of conduct. He's just being political. The code, there's an agency established by law to enforce the code of conduct. If Joekai broke anything regarding the code of conduct, and the agency responsible go after Joekai, and nothing is done, the American cannot open him mouth to talk. I think he just won't be all over the place. And this is going to affect him, because if you're doing something without being meticulous, just to be in a spotlight to say, oh, American is being some kind of righteous guy, he's going to harm himself. There's nothing they can prove against Josiah Joekai that he broke the law. And make no mistake, in as much most of you here are eloquent, most of you here are educated, Josiah Joekai too is not that much of an ignorant. He knows his left from his right. I guarantee you, this is just a waste of time in the Senate.
Thank you. Real quick before I go to Elvis.
Let me just 2 seconds. Let me inform my brother here.
1 minute. I'm coming in 1 minute.
Right.
Aliu.
Yes.
The legislature or the Senate, do you agree that they can hold the executive responsible, keeping the executive in check?
It doesn't mean they don't have limitations.
No. I'm asking you. Do you agree?
That's a vague stuff. Yes, they can hold the executive in check, but to what extent?
But listen. Okay, so we agree they can hold the executive.
They can.
Listen. Did the executive appoint Joekai?
But that's not an issue. If you listen to everything, of course, based on what I said.
Asking you, he is part of the executive. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let me go.
Thank you. Go on,
Victor, go ahead real quick so I can go to
Thank you. Let me inform my brother Ali here that the day he gets appointed in government and he misbehaves, the Senate can initiate impeachment proceedings against you.
It depends on the scenario.
What scenario? This is why I don't want to hear.
Go ahead.
Because you said here that Americana has absolutely no business to invite Joekai, and I disagree with you. I mean, vehemently.
Okay,
I disagree with you. I don't think you understand the workings of the government.
That's all right.
Yes, you're done. Americana is in the right place, and I was supporting, and I'm sure a lot of other people were supporting. They need to invite Joekai in, let him get understand and explain why he feels he's untouchable. You say he didn't use any government property. Of course, he's a personality representing the government of Liberia. He's a government official. That alone is a government. He's a government property. I know you disagree.
Fine opinion.
You go back to your UP friend. I read my friend Anthony Kessley talking about ombudsman, right? Yeah, that is true too. Why can't he? He's a minister in the government. Why can't he tell the ombudsman to lift that case up as well? You guys really,
division of labor.
Neutralizing that part of the problem that's killing us. Clearly, Josiah Joekai is in violation of the code of conduct that he himself ushered in.
It's okay, Mr. Nangwe.
I maintain he should be fired.
Okay.
That's what I have to say, Jerome.
Let me go to Elvis. Here we are. We are talking about a code of conduct. We are talking about the executive being kept in check. Your take on this?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gayman. Look, let me just say this. I respect Josiah Joekai's education. I think he's an eloquent and a competent man. I've heard him speak on this platform before. But I think the behavior that he has exhibited here is obsequious. He's a graveling, sycophantic hypocrite.
Oh, wow.
And he's proven himself to be exactly what many people claim him to be, because he fired people.
When books see book run away.
But Jamison will be academic. The beginning start. Go ahead, y'all.
When he fired people for sharing political sentiments on their Facebook pages, not even at rallies, he fired them and said that it's against the code of conduct. You can't be working against the president, blah blah blah. and now he thinks he's above the people who are working in the CSA because he's the managing director. So he's a status above them, and he can't be held to account. The same rules that apply to them doesn't apply to him. And with due respect to Mr. Joker, Dr. Joker, now when you come and beat your chest and tell the Liberian people that it is unseemly to be political, to criticize the president while working in government. But in the same breath, you're saying that it's okay to go there and show up for a political rally to support the president. It's hypocritical. I think that the Booty said it, Mr. Nangwe said it. The reality is we can criticize him, but who's gonna keep him in check? The CSA that he runs, who are supposed to enforce the code of conduct, is he now going to go back and punish himself? Of course not. So the Senate has to step in because they have the power of oversight. When it comes to the executive, they can keep them in check. They can have a vote of no confidence. They can ask him to explain his blatant hypocrisy. They can bring him to check. Let him explain his reasoning to the Liberian people before the Senate. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. These are three intertwined and interwoven government branches that we have in our country. They both can interact and question each other. That's the power of check and balances. So for me, I think Joker is well qualified. I won't take that away from him. But what I question is his moral character. Is he morally upright? Is he a man that has a moral rectitude to come up and say, well, those guys from CDC, they can be showing political favoritism to their political, affiliated, positions. But I, as a supporter of the president, as a fellow Lofian, I can go out there and support Joseph Boakai. The very idea of it rubs me the wrong way. That you go stand up there for independent movement, to support Joseph Boakai with the same man that illegally removed a speaker. A lot of illegal things happen, and Joker, as a man who should have high moral standard, is there supporting it. So for me, I'm deeply disappointed in him. I won't say more, and I won't use more words on him, but quite frankly, everybody can see it for what it is. It's blatant hypocrisy. Thank you, Mr. Gibbon.
Thank you. Let me go to Mr. Padmo. Mr. Padmo, your comment on this, and then I'll start the second segment with you. So what should happen now?
Hey, I haven't commented yet.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, I made Pamo to come back. I made Pamo to come on the show. But I didn't come. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Eastman, I forgot. I know you blending in with your background. You all right? Go ahead.
All right. Okay. And I think Mr. Tahoe touched on the nature of the erroneous nature of the law in itself. Theoretically, allowing political appointees to canvass for a political party is not necessarily inconsistent with democracy, because political appointees are by definition political actors appointed to advance an agenda of the elected administration. Unlike civil servants, they are often expected to be politically aligned with the government. But where we see the problem, especially in our Liberian setting, is that civil servants should be free to support political parties, but they should not use their official positions to, like uniforms and all that sort of thing, to engage in partisan political activity. In other words, you don't want a soldier in uniform at a political rally, but a civil servant should be allowed to do it. And just now, the young brother Elvis commented, how can you dismiss people, civil servants, for being at a political rally? Not to say they were wearing their uniform or anything. That is illegal. You cannot strip somebody of their political freedom just because they work for the government. Who says that when you work for government, you don't have political freedom? You cannot use the resources of the government in support of another political party. But they have no right to restrict you. So what we're seeing is this selective enforcement of this rule. You can find people from being at a political rally, but you can attend the rally with no problem because of what? So we find this a lot in our dispensation. We make a law, but we don't apply the law to ourselves. We keep changing. So the public, as views these laws as being weaponized against a particular group. We can't be like this. We can't be wishy-washy. When it's at your time, then it doesn't apply. But when at our time, it applies. And if we're gonna continue on this journey without being committed to the law that we establish, we're not gonna go anywhere. We're changing every day, and this is part of our problem. That's why that's why we have problems with the Supreme Court and the judicial system. That's why we have problem with all the other institutions. They're all weak because we keep bending the rules that establish these institutions. If you continue bending the rules, you are creating weak institutions, and you're not going to be able to advance your people as a whole. You have to be rigid in the enforcement of rules, but we keep changing. So the whole idea of stopping political appointees from supporting a party is wrong. At the same time, they can't go fire somebody who support another political party, which is another wrong. So what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, and I see, if we don't sober up, if we continue on this track, it will lead to a total collapse of our democracy, because it's not being legal and enforced and disciplined. We'll see a collapse. That's what I predict.
We'll send you to the Council of Churches. Go preach over there.
Excuse me, man. Let me go to see. Oh, there you go, Mr. Padmo.
Yeah, man, you're talking plenty on that thing I ain't need to be talked about. With the law is the law. Okay, Unity Party created this law. Unity Party created a law, not anybody else. Not the law coming back to them. This was the same thing when all our in the opposition we used to castigate CDC about. We all remember this. Jefferson Koji and the rest of the people, we used to talk about them. At that time, it was good. Everything was correct. Now Unity Party is there. Now everything a problem. No, the law is bad. The law bad today. Yesterday, when we were castigating CDC for it was not bad at that time. You know? And then my good friend here talking about NEMO is not a political organization. So all I did was I went to their Facebook page, to NEMO Facebook page, and I screenshot this. So I said, well, you know, maybe if I'm making a mistake, but this is NEMO's Facebook page. It says very clearly they're a political organization, and they give you their number. They created their own page. They identified themselves. They gave themselves their own category. What more you want for us to do now? I mean, they're defending the defenseless. If you feel the law is bad, go change the law. But as long as the law remains, the law is the law. It's as simple as that. I don't even know why you're fighting. Why you're defending?
Yeah, but Mr. Padmo, if the law violates the Constitution, it's not a law.
No. It is a law until you challenge it at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court strikes it down. Until then, it is the law. It is the law.
And you've been enforcing that law.
Yes. So now,
Let me 10 seconds.
Let me go.
Supreme Court when you've been enforcing the law.
Let me go to Mr. C. Mr. C. Now we all agree that the goalpost has been moved.
No, we all not agree.
Okay. Listen, if 8 out of 9 people agree, that's what it is. Mr. C. What is it now should happen to Josiah Joekai?
Well, I maintain that he was in error for wearing a t-shirt of NEMO. In my judgment, that is engagement into political activity, which is against the law, which is the code of conduct. And so I hold strongly that he was in error and he was wrong, and that was a violation. I maintain that. The other point I want to make, my good friend Buddy, when I was saying that Josiah, who withheld people's salaries, My point was that this is a man who was implementing the very law that he's now violating. I was not making a point in his favor. I was holding my friend accountable. How could you withheld people's salary? It's not a credit I was giving him. I was trying to make a point that you cannot be implementing the law against others and then be the one here violating the law. That was my point. I would not give him credit for doing what he's supposed to do. That's not how I do it. So, Mr. Gibman, you asked, what should be done now? Well, our laws are simple. It's just that we don't have the moral rectitude and the spine to implement them. As Jimmy is trying to say, we have the ombudsman. Maybe Amara, besides inviting him to the Senate, which is his right to do, maybe he can complain him to the ombudsman for the ombudsman to look into that. Another person who has the authority to take action is the president. But will the president do it? I don't think the president will do it. Mr. Nambo is saying Josiah should be fired. That's his opinion. I don't think Josiah should be fired for violating or for wearing T-shirt at Nimbo event. There can be something else. Maybe it will be the president's decision to make. But I think Mr. Nambo's point is way too harsh. That a man should be fired because he wore a T-shirt at a political event.
Yeah, but let me hold you to this. When Josiah Joekai himself said those who violated the law should be fired, and they were fired. That's the law.
So let me, and I'm in a tight place here because of my friendship and family thing. And the point I'm about to make is not in defense. I'm just trying to provide information. Right. And this is what came from the CSA and Josiah himself, that the reason the CDC members or partisans were fired, according to, I talked to Josiah, chief of office staff, to get the facts. Right, he told me that the reason the decision was made from the Monrovia City Corporation, but it was Josiah who announced it. So many people attributed it to him. This is the information he provided to me. But according to him, during working hours, that these gentlemen were live on Facebook and they were insulting the president of the republic. During working hours, they were live on Facebook.
Okay, that's
I'm providing information. I am not justifying. It is not my role. I'm providing information in my role as a media person, so that we can all have all the information. That's what that side from the CSA side, that's what they told me, that they were live on Facebook during working hours and insulting the president, and the president have to be their subordinate in every place of work. During working time, that's a
violation.
Your boss,
Jimmy,
it's a violation, and they can take action against you. And so let me be clear: I'm only providing information.
Don't be scared.
Josiah is competent enough to defend himself. That is not my place, and I will never do that.
Well, they can't do nothing to you. Answer. Don't be scared.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm only telling. I'm just providing.
Mr. Gamer, can I just say something quickly, because my name was mentioned?
Actually, you're next. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Mr. CA, right? I know you keep claiming that you're a media personality here. You were brought on this show to give your opinion, right? Mr. Gibbon asked you a very simple question. In your opinion, what should be done? You're finding it difficult to answer the question. The fact of the matter is, even if they did it during working hours, how do you know they were not on their break? Do they not have to have lunch breaks, right? The fact is, there's nothing in the law that says if you do it on your during the working hours, then you can be fired. If you do it outside of working hours, then the law doesn't. The law says if you are a civil servant, right? If you do anything political, you should be fired.
That's wrong.
There is no fixing. It's Mr. Eastman, please. There is no. I'm not arguing with you.
No, you're right. What I'm saying, but the law is wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Jimmy, we are not here to argue whether the law is wrong or right. We are here to implement the law.
I accept your point. I accept it. I don't agree with it. I accept it because, like Mr. Padmo said, until you see, we have systems for a reason. Take it to the Supreme Court, challenge it, they let them struck it down. Until such a time, the law is not wrong because these same legislators passed that law, right? Some of them were in the legislature at the time this law was passed. The point I'm trying to make here, Mr. CA, I know it's difficult for you to say something because this guy, you have a personal relationship with him. if it was good for those people to be fired, right? There's nothing. Mr. Gaiman read the law. Mr. Patmo put it on the screen. There's nothing in there say hour or the day, whether that working hour or whether not working hour, whether the afternoon or evening or week. It didn't say that. It said if you are employed by the government, if you are employed by the government, or if we pay your salary, if the government of Liberia is paying your salary, you're not allowed to go and do political canvassing. That's what it said. So he has violated the law. He should be sacked. So to say Mr. Nangbe is asking for something very severe is wrong, because others lost their jobs and their livelihoods. Their families are suffering because of that. They made a mistake as well, but the law did not think about their mistake. It fired them, which was the right thing to do. He's made a mistake. If you're unable to say it, then leave the show, right? Don't come here and be going around in circles.
Mr. Gibbon,
let me go to Mr.
10 seconds. 10 seconds, man.
No 10 seconds.
Just because I honor you, the party side now, I will not get no right on this show. You can get it, 40 seconds, Jenna. Give me 10 seconds, you say no. Okay, go to Mr. Tao.
Okay, go ahead with your 10 seconds. One,
see,
three,
wait now, but wait, that's how they can come. Let me tell you something here, okay? The last time we had an argument here, and I told you, you get called back, will never go back. I am telling you, this is another thing for also, you know, occupy our show. The Mr. Pamokin, this guy from Barbados, you know, he said something that was correct. He said, well, we're wasting our time on this thing. I am telling you, Americana is making noise. Once the ombudsman don't see this to be a violation, first of all, Americana should not be inviting Josiah Joekai. He is intruding. Just because you have the right to call the executive doesn't mean you can involve yourself in executive functions. The ombudsman must be the one they should go to and say, why are you allowing people break the code of conduct? He didn't do that. He jumped over the ombudsman, go to Josiah Joekai. Josiah Joekai can say, I'm not answerable to you, I'm answerable to the ombudsman, but the ombudsman is here to enforce the law. And if they say, okay, it's our right to do blah, 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 then he goes there and says, let them talk. After talking, go by the work. What happens after that? Nothing. Go ahead.
Wait, let me go to Tower. We're running out of time. 2 minutes.
Yeah. Look, why I don't agree with the law and many of the laws that the Ellen era passed, which pretty much strangulated the country in some ways and leave it and put into a lot of confusion. If the law is on the book, this is the same Joekai that fired people or reprimanded them or harassed them. And we spoke about it here. So how come now you are saying the gangsterism that I don't know if this is how, I don't think Boakai act this way, but you who's supposed to be his advisor, you're a complete gangster. Whenever a law is broken or something that is not followed, that is on the book that they put there, you instead of you trying to make sense of the stuff or admit, you say, we don't care.
The law is not broken if the court said it is. The law is broken when a judge said the law was broken.
Yeah, the law.
Everything here is allegation.
Yeah,
everything here is allegation.
Yeah, the own law is there, but I don't know. You come that is the end. We're not like they kind of gangster style.
Okay.
Mr. Gamer,
I asked you now.
I want to ask one question. I only need 5 seconds.
Mr. Eastman, 1 minute. Mr. Tower, the question is what should happen now in 1 minute?
Yeah. He should be removed because he used the same law to remove people, right?
Yeah.
So he should be removed.
Thank you.
Because these people were also out of
all I want to see, I want to ask all of the people, the gentlemen on this panel, can a citizen, a Liberian, be stripped of their constitutional rights to free speech and political association by any law? Constitutional right.
We're not stripping their rights. We're taking their job.
Mr. Eastman, that is
only the court can decide who broke the law.
We are discussing the law on the books. So, Mr. Eastman, what should happen now based on the law?
They should re-examine this law.
No. The man has broken the law for.
We haven't established the man has broken the law. We have to establish that the law is broken. Some court, some authority has to establish that the law is has been broken. Okay, and that has to happen first. But
so Jimmy, that is the process that Amra Kone is trying to establish, and my brother Aliu here.
America does not decide who broke the law, who didn't.
That is
Only
not
the
even,
court.
we are not even going that far. We are talking about the law now, section 5. Okay, we're talking about part 5, section A, B, and C. All were violated. Josiah Joekai have made a point that anybody who violated this law will be fired. From the PSA people that he fired, from the women that were at the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, all of those people that were working that Joey hired that went to the US, I think there were about 750 of them. They fired all of them. Same thing. So, like me, I'm a salary employee. That means I work 24/7 for my organization. I can't say on my birthday or on holiday or on Sunday I do not represent my company. That's not the law. I signed this contract. That's what I'm supposed to do. And if I violate my law,
apples and oranges.
So, how would it be apples and oranges when Josiah Joekai said this here? He said, "I proudly signed the performance contract for the code of conduct." Then you said that different.
But how many topics we got today? We've been on that one for too long.
No, I know you don't want to talk about it. I know it's squeezing you. Let me go to Elvis. The last piece here, we'll move to the second one. What should happen to Josiah Joekai according to the law?
All right. Sorry, there's some background noise. But yes, I don't think he should be fired. I don't actually think if this rises up to the level of termination. I think, like people said, he can be punished, he can be suspended, his salary can be withheld. But we have to be ecumenical when it comes out, when it comes to the disbursement of the law and meting it out against people equally, without impartiality, and really making sure that we're being fair. You serve in a position of power and trust, you have to treat everyone equally. So if he fires those people, I think now he has to come back and rescind it because he set the precedent, a precedent that if you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. And then he went and did that. And by that logic, this is what should happen to him. So I think he probably have to come out and apologize to the nation, apologize to those employees that he fired for being a hypocrite. So if he can't do that, then I see that he's being arrogant and he thinks he's above the law. Well, I don't think
he doesn't believe he broke the law.
Thank you. Your name and where you calling from? The Caleb, go ahead.
Gentlemen, good debate. This is Caleb Gonga. I'm calling from Pennsylvania. I listened to Mr. Eastman and Adio Kamara teaming this guys as a panelist who is a UP protege. But I don't get the argument particularly Mr. Eastman is making or even Evie is making. The law remains a law. The code of conduct is a statute, okay? So the statute remains in place unless someone goes to the Supreme Court to request the Supreme Court to strike it down that this statute violates my constitutional right under the article. Then the Supreme Court can declare either a law or can void it and say, this law is contrary to this. But no one has done that yet. It is the same law that Josiah Joekai used to fire others. Like every single man should apologize. I think if everyone want to make a recommendation, he should say Josiah Joekai should reinstate those people and also apologize. I think that's the right way maybe to put it than to just merely apologize while the other kids have lost the source of that daily bread. I think so. I don't also agree with the code of conduct in terms of maybe exempting the legislators from many of these laws because they make the law, but it remains a law. Take for example, the same legislature passed a law that if you go to election and the political party does not earn or accumulate 2% or does not have a candidate elected, then in the next election, that political party cannot participate. It is in my mind, it's violation of the Constitution. The right to participate, to freely participate, a contest and be voted for, or vote and be voted for, it violates that, but it has not been challenged, so it remains the law. Even though the Elections Commission has never denied any candidate on the basis of that law, because no one has challenged any candidate on the basis of the law also. So it's like, okay, don't ask, don't tell. It's there, but no one has challenged it. I don't agree with the law, but it's there. It's still the law. That's my point.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our first segment. That was a really one that I think. Listen, as long as we have laws and we keep moving the goalpost, it has more, when we're talking about significant impact on our country, especially when it comes to investment. When investor knows that they can put their money in the country and the law is static, okay, or elastic, where the goalpost can be moved, more people will not want to come. But let's go to the second part here. Ebola is in the country or Ebola is not in the country. Whether yes or not, are we prepared for Ebola? What are we doing? How should we prepare? Is it right for us to start asking for millions in advance just for the preparation? But then when we talk to the experts are saying, no, not too fast. We shouldn't be putting that much money into this already. Dr. Dobanya, Chris Yan says $4.2 million is plenty. And even above the MPHIL annual budget, noting that $1 million initially would have been a better timing for what we are doing instead of the entire $4.2 million. Let me go to Anthony C. Anthony C., a man who has written a book recognized around the world for epidemiology, saying $1 million would do it for the preparation, but not actually $4.2 million, because when Ebola hit, how much are we going to be asking for now? Your take.
Oh, Mr. Gimel, I would like this topic to pass me. I'm waiting for the next one. I would like the health aspect to discuss this one.
Okay, let me go to Victor. Victor, I know you and I, we are familiar with Chris. Yeah, Chris is saying, listen, this is a good thing, but $4.2 million just for the preparation is too much. You think $1 million will suffice?
Yeah, I respect Dr. Duenya a lot, but I think he's wrong on this one. I know I respect his service at Enfield. He's supposed to know what he's talking about. But we've seen how our people struggle with the Ebola containment, the COVID containment. And he knows very well that the 2.4 something million that is being requested, they will not get out of it, and that is just the operation of the government. Mm-hmm. So I've heard other lawmakers talk about, $100 million to prepare the country. I mean, you know how many people we lost in Liberia due to Ebola? No PPE, and all of that stuff. So I disagree with him. As to the question as to whether Ebola is in the country now, by the government's version, there is none. But there are reports of people returning from other parts of the world, including Uganda and other parts in the country already, who are showing signs of Ebola. And so by that version, especially that this nurse revealed that, and they clamped down on her, took her in out of that, only to come and confirm that indeed this happened, and that preparations are underway. And out of that, I will go with by the nurse's version and say, yes, I think Ebola is in the country already. We shouldn't wait until somebody dies. I think the preparation necessary needs to be kicked in right away.
Great. Dr. Booty, one of the things that we usually say on this show, and Mr. Sia just said it, we should listen to the experts, people who know about the stuff. If we are talking about the expert in Liberia, nobody is better than Dr. Chris Dube. And he is saying, from all indication, he ran that agency, he ran that department, he knows what we have in inventory and everything else, based on his assessment, professional assessment. You said $1 million would suffice.
All right, so I'm going to speculate a little bit because again, like Mr. Nangbe, I don't have all.
Well, you do everything.
Go.
But my understanding, and correct me, Mr. Game, if I'm wrong, but my understanding is Dr. Dubenya is not in this government at this moment in time. No. So he wouldn't have up-to-date first-hand knowledge of how prepared we are to deal with this particular situation if it arose. So based on that, I disagree with him and side with what Mr. Nangbe said. We should allow the current experts to be the ones. Yes, he might be well-renowned, and yes, he was the guy who maybe led us through Ebola in 2014. I wrote because I've got a background in public health, and I wrote a paper, that was published in an international journal on how to prepare a health system to deal with an epidemic like this. But I wouldn't be offering my opinion to the Liberian government because I don't have an understanding of their preparedness. You'll have to be able to go in, look at how prepared they are based on the current level of expertise that they have, and then make an assessment. And if he doesn't have that privilege to access to that information, it's difficult for him to just say, oh, well, because I did it before, times have changed, right? What I would say is if the government or the entity responsible, NFL, is asking for 4.2 million, then I would want to see, a proposal, right, that is well with enough details to say why we need 4.2 million, and even if 4.2 million is enough, because I know, again, I'm speculating, but I don't believe 4.2 million dollars is enough to be prepared for an Ebola outbreak in Liberia. I don't think so. I think we need way more than that as a country. I don't think we learn, when I speak to individuals who participated directly in the Ebola response in Liberia at the time and recently, they don't believe that we have learned lessons, right? Because normally when these things happen, you learn lessons from them and then you put in place strategies to be able to adapt and respond differently. These individuals are saying to me, we didn't learn any lessons. We've not put anything in place. So we don't have the know-how. So I would think that we might even need more. So I would disagree with him, not rejecting his expertise, because I think he's very experienced. He's done very well for our country. But because he's not in the system right now, let's leave it to the people who are running the system to make that decision.
Mr. Tao.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, Dr. Booty, most of the time I agree with a lot of his analysis. But today, no, we have learned. Let's commend Liberia where it deserves commendation. During the COVID outbreak, because Liberia was so adept in their preparation, the COVID had minimal, very limited effect on us. And we were commended by how we quickly reacted to it and prepared for it to minimize the effect of COVID in Liberia. So we have learned lessons from it. But the two things need to be said. First, there is no reported Ebola case in Liberia. I think we need to establish that. And those who were involved with it before, they are best to analyze and estimate how much it's going to cost to be prepared to handle it. Okay, so we have to give those people prepared. The minimal preparedness, as estimated by a health institution for an outbreak like this, is $4 to $6 million. That's the minimum. Okay, a stronger 90-day plan will cost between 10 to 15 million. So even I know we are cash strapped, like my brother Nangbe said, we're cash strapped. We're struggling. But if we're going to make an estimate, I want to know, if y'all got an engineer building a house and he tells you he can do it, it costs $300,000 and he said he can do it for $100,000, you better be sure where you're getting, because you cannot scale down from 300 to 100,000 without losing some effect on your house. So the expert gave a figure that is commensurable with such a preparation. So I don't think anything wrong. Maybe we don't have the money. Maybe there are ways we can cut corners. But the fact is, we did it well before. We do have the expertise, and now it's going to estimate to at least be between 4 to 6 million. So 4.2 million is not outrageous at all.
Okay.
No, Mr. Gamer, can I? Sorry, Mr. Eastman, two things, right? I don't see how you disagree with me because I said most of the things you just said. The point on the COVID, one of the according to a lot of medical and public health publications, one of the reasons that Africa did so well is because we have a very youthful population, not because the countries were very prepared, right? Because COVID is respiratory, right? Which is why older people were dying more than young people, because Africa has a very youthful population. That was a major contributing factor. Not because we were prepared.
Well, Mr. Tao, one of the things that was mind-boggling was when the committee appeared before the Senate to ask for this money, they were not prepared. There were no comprehensive budget. There were no line item to say, this is why the chair of the committee kept saying, don't be afraid. Give us the number. Give us the number. And they just came up with a number. If you listen to that hearing, that's what was going on. Gave the number. Don't be afraid. Just give us the number. And usually people will come with itemized, okay? These are the things that we will need. This is what it's going to cost us. This is when we need them. This is how they're going to be used. This is where they're going to be warehoused. This is how much. None of that stuff. And the folks were just talking, and they kept saying, give us a number. Give us a figure. Don't be afraid. Give us a number. So most people got very skeptical and say, this is not how budgeting works. Your take on that?
Okay. So first, I greatly disagree with a point that Victor Nangbe and Jimmy made. Liberia is not cash strapped. There's a lot of money in that country. It's held on to by the Ghanaian government. Because we keep saying this. There's a lot of money in that country. There's hundreds of millions of dollars in that country. But they're holding on to all of it. So we're not cash strapped. They hold on to all the money, they go and credit and debt the country, and they strangulate the country in a way where we can't even survive. So I just wanted to make that point because each time we mention Liberia, we keep saying cash trap. No, we are not. That country has a lot of money. So having said that, this is what I would say though. If you know in Liberia, you see the representative senators that were over there, most of them and guys in government, they already have all kinds of agencies and stuff set up to siphon off the 4 million. You can even put 100 million in there, they're going to siphon it off. They don't know anything about preparation. That is what they show you when they came there. But guess what? A whole bunch of people are experts that from public health, so and so from the US and from the UK and everywhere else. They're the one that make a bulk of these guys. They're supposed to know. They know how to run a country. They are the experts. They have all this education. So they went back to take the heavy salaries. You know, they're figurehead. They don't know anything because see how we operate here. We can't even organize our own community. Okay, so those guys, they didn't bring in the budget or audit my stuff because that is not the intention. The intention is this whole COVID stuff or Ebola stuff. Now it's an opportunity for them to steal. They have no interest in protecting the public. They don't even care. Guess what? The day they say COVID symptoms, it felt in our country. You would say like the way you saw Ebola. I mean, the way you saw when they say Ebola, the way you saw Ebola and COVID. You see other than jumping on the plane, fleeing back to the US and everywhere else, and they will leave. I saw that happen. I have a bunch of friends that were in the government from here, they fled when they should have prepared, and they were in a position in the health sector and everything else. So no, they have no interest in protecting the country. I know what, yeah. It's not that I believe him, but I want to believe the point that he's making is he know the corruption in that place. Don't make any money like that available to them because it's going to be stolen. That's pretty much what I see. They're not preparing. And I want to say this. We were on this platform last time, and there was a nurse that was mentioned, that she said some people came from Uganda and she suspected that they were sneezing and coughing. People can sneeze and cough. I was one of those that said that they should at least look into them and maybe try to keep them for a little bit. But I want to say this just like Jimmy said here. There is no known case of Ebola in Liberia. Uganda, that those people came from, Uganda have not reported any case of Ebola. So let us establish that. Yes, somebody can have symptoms of cold and everything else. Yes, they should have been quarantined, maybe look at, or maybe kind of just maybe swab or something. But we should establish that there is no Ebola in Liberia that is established, because even the Uganda that they allegedly came from and traveled back to Liberia, Uganda does not have a case of Ebola. So we should establish that.
Well,
I know you want to bring something in just 5 seconds.
Yeah, let me correct Tower.
There is Ebola in Uganda.
As we are speaking, the World Health Organization said that Uganda has an outbreak of Ebola as we speak.
Now?
Yes, as we speak.
Not just now. I'm speak now, right?
Yeah, 1 minute. Victor, go ahead real quick.
Thank you. Let me thank Josiah for disagreeing with me, but making the point exactly that I made. What I said is this: whatever money they appropriate, they will not spend all that money on Ebola. We know that they will steal some of it. Therefore, I think the money is insufficient.
All of it.
More than that. In the previous Ebola outbreak, it has been reported that Liberia spent between $143 to $155 million to contain that. Now, I get the point. I get the point that they may have gained some experience and therefore, but this is a new strain that has absolutely no cure. So what is it they're going to do that they did before when this is new? They never dealt with it before. They never done that. So for my friend Chris Dueyan, who is not the director right now of Enfield, to sit on the sideline and speak the way he did, I disagree with him. I'm disappointed that he will even do that. He's not the one running Enfield anymore. He should get him out of the poor business. That's not his place.
They generally asking for his opinion, and he gave.
You should tell him he doesn't have an opinion because he's not the current director.
What?
Let me go to Kamara.
Yes,
I think Victor, that whatever he ate over there, that King and pepper is rough. Go ahead, talk to me, Aliu.
Dr. Praise Dubenya is the public health judge we are of our time. You know, a few months ago, I went to the John Hopkins Hospital for some eye checkup. And a guy there asked me, where you're from? You have a slight accent. I said, I'm from Liberia. He said, oh, do you know Dubanya? I said, yeah. He said, he's one of our senior researchers here. To assume that because Dubanya does not go into the walls of Anfield, that means he doesn't have information around the world about health, then you're making a mistake. He's well connected. So you can't just dismiss whatever he says like that abruptly, Mr. Nangbe. However, though, I believe in the government, and I'll take their word for it. But I also would not dismiss Dr. Dubanya. Another thing, how we can just sit on this platform. This platform goes wild far. You just said, I said they were stealing. They were stealing. They were stealing all the money. I can't.
Just say
yeah, but let me do this. I'm saying my own now. They were established agencies to steal all the money. This is pedestrian. Can't be talking like that. Go ahead, Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but for the information of the panel, 9 cases of Ebola have been reported in Uganda, and there has been one death. This was the information as of May 9th, 2026.
Elvis.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gateman. I think this is a case of once bitten, twice shy, right? Where you want to be more, apprehensive and extremely cautious and make sure that you're well prepared, even over prepared, if anything were to happen. And I think the problem here is that the health ministry was not adequately prepared, because this is what you live for on the job. You want to make sure that you can itemize, you can, Mr. Gavin, you do this all the time. You budgetize and you make sure everything is accounted for, and the money that you're asking for is going to be all spent on things that you actually need. So I think if they, had they done that, and maybe the Senate calling them there was premature, and maybe they should have just given them a couple of weeks to prepare themselves, and maybe they would have came up with a budget, an itemized budget to really justify the money that they were asking for. Well, and like Mr. Kamara said, I would agree with him in totality that Dr. Dubayan, I hate to say it might even be demeaning to him, but he's like our own, Anthony Fauci. He's an epidemiologist on the world, on the war now, very well researched and respected. His opinion should be taken as people can say next to God because he's really worked in this field and he's a very deep expert and a very adept to the ongoings of epidemics across the globe. So he should even be brought on as a consultant to kind of advise the government in their preparedness, in their dealing with it, you know, and maybe even the government or the health ministry should now start putting out, things about distancing, washing yourself, washing your hands, and all of the things that we did in the last Ebola crisis. We should even start practicing it now, just in preparation of in case God forbid an outbreak comes. But I think one thing that people are saying, which is also true, is that evil human beings they use things that they know human beings are afraid of to benefit from it. So things like health scares, like what we have with Ebola now. If you have some criminal elements within the government, they're going to know that the citizens are going to be in favor of being prepared for something like that, were it to happen. So they take that opportunity and to potentially steal money and siphon off money from funds that should benefit us. But God willing, let's say this doesn't come to pass in our country and there's no case of Ebola and in the Congo and Uganda, all of those things that kind of, it dies down. Can we then go back and audit that money, see where it went, if any of it was spent and how it was spent? Do we trust our government that that's going to happen? So these questions, people are right on both sides, but I think overly being overly prepared is not a bad thing, especially for some of us who went through Ebola and we saw how we were treated here in this very country just for the fact that our country name was in the news and people were having Ebola, Americans was treating us different. When we was in school, when we was on a job, people were looking at us different and stay away from us because they assumed we had Ebola. There was that big case of the guy who came from Liberia to Dallas, I think to Texas and had Ebola.
Yeah.
And we became demonized in this country. So even us here in the diaspora, we must be careful. We must make sure that our country is handling this situation well so that here we won't be demonized like we were in 2014 or so. But thank you, Mr. Gilman. I'll pass the mic.
You're muted.
Yes, I know. Our next topic will start with Anthony C., and that is the president cabinet. But before we go, we have a comment here. Go ahead.
Yes, just quick comment on this Ebola issue. I listened to Dr. Budi, and other panelists. I think Dr. Dibanyan issue is to even this for anyone to dismiss his knowledge of his institutional knowledge of the healthcare system in Liberia. I think that would be sad because it's not even 1 year since he left the healthcare system, right? And even before that, he had something to do with it. He was coming back to Liberia, volunteering, teaching at the medical school, and doing all the stuff. So, you don't necessarily have to be within the system to have deeper knowledge on the resources that are available or the gaps in resources available in the healthcare. It's public knowledge because they do publish annual reports and they state the challenges they have and what have you. Like you said, when you spoke to some people, whether Liberia actually or Africa learned from Ebola, I tend to believe that we didn't learn much. We stole more money from the measure of people who were dying from Ebola, who are still, even the survivors that are still suffering today. People became multi-millionaire out of Ebola by stealing the money. So we really didn't learn that. For example, we should have even a storage site in 15 counties of PPEs and what have you that are just kept there for contingency at all times and were kept in a storage condition. We didn't learn that. We didn't do that. We should even be where we have younger population or concentration like the University of Liberia or bigger school at Tomaya. We should even have water system now running where students are able to wash their hands when they use the latrine and what have you. We because we didn't lay anything out of that. So we had to put all of these things in place because our people stole the money. The funding that came is stolen. So the point is, Joekai wrote and he cited Angola budget, current expenditure. Now, what is the country where the Ebola outbreak actually is, their budget is not 4 million. What is spending there is not 4 million. Because the outbreak in DRC is in a particular district. It's not in Kinshasa. Congo, as everyone knows, is a very big country. You know, is restricted in a particular region. So the expenditure in our region, where the outbreak is less than what the health ministry is requesting. And this point is, hey, how we requesting more money than the people who actually dealing with the actual pandemic. So if it is preparedness, 1.2 million will suffice for now. Because why it doesn't come? When you put a $4.1 million buy, no, people always get rich again. The country is very corrupt, like Growth does it, I mean, the country is very corrupt. So I think we should not give them much room that they can eat money. Let's give them a straight jacket budget for preparedness. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Let me go to Anthony C. Anthony C. The cabinet. Some people say that there were a lot of hot topic in town, and this cabinet thing was a distraction. The president said that he noticed that people have been traveling, the traveling budget, we're putting a hole in the budget. But then when I look at the fine print, he says nobody leave the country without his personal approval or approval from his office. But then in the fine print, it said except anything more than 4. So up to 4, you don't need approval. 4 travel. If you were in Liberia and you traveled to the United States 4 times, that's quarterly. Who does that? But the president said that's okay. So most people thought that this was a small screen. Your take on this one?
Thank you, Jerome. This has been one of my advocacy lines, that we are spending too much on foreign travel. And I'm not sure what we are getting from the foreign travels. If anything, the officials who travel are benefit from the DSA, the incidental allowance, the plane ticket, and the hotel. They are the one benefiting. Because I feel that with technology now, some of these conferences they usually attend, and even if those are meetings with other, nations, they can request that be done online. Here we are today having a discussion. The whole world is watching it. We're not in the same house, and the whole world is watching it. And for Liberia, that is not raising significant revenue and needs over maybe $20 billion just to build roads, not even talking about education and other things. And our leaders who also are aware that our schools are in shambles, and for them to mindlessly, spend money on foreign travel in this manner, I don't believe it. But let me go to the story. Yes, it's a presidential directive from the president, and it is a recognition that, hey, we are spending too much money on travel, and we need more money for a lot of things. So we're going to restrict the too much traveling. That is basically the language of the presidential directive, restricting travel. And the president is saying any other travel, he has to approve it before the person can travel. He also said that there are other alternatives. The virtual meeting, if those one can be arranged, it should be done in order to save money. So when I saw that, I did a little research, and I'm going to share with you guys here. So this is 2026. So in these 2 years alone, the total money the government of Liberia spent on foreign travel is $5,815,530. When you break it down year by year and also the way they itemize it, for example, just the means of travel, all right, means of travel alone in 2024 is 1.9 million. Now, the same means of travel in 2025 is 2.3 million. Now it gone up. And then in 2026, it gone to 2.7 million. It gone up again. And then you come to daily subsistence allowance. 2024, 1.7 million. 2025, it gone up to 1.8 million. And 2026, it gone to 2.5 million. Now you come to 2026, it's the same thing. It gone up again. So like I gave you the total. In 2024 alone, they spent a total of 4.2 million. In 2025, 4.6 million. And then in 2026, 5.8 million. This is the kind of money our government has been spending on foreign travel. And who has been leading the charge? President Boakai has been leading the charge. He has traveled far too often than President Boakai has done. To come to the recognition after 3 years, I don't think he deserves a credit here, because this is a president who should be making only essential travel in the first place. He should be a statesman who should be worrying about kids that are in school instead of wasting money on foreign travel. And most of the travel, we don't benefit anything. And so, Jerome, I even question that the president will be strong with the implementation of the very directive. Why am I doubting that the president will be able to do so? Access declaration, the low-hanging fruit. Somebody wants a job in America, the first thing they tell you, well, go and do your background check, bring all your credentials, all right? Bring your resume before you can start a job. In Liberia, it's about the same thing. Before you can take up the job in Liberia, they say, well, at least declare your asset. The president was the first who was in violation. He violated that consistently. And then his official followed suit. After the dance in violation, he went and suspended some of them, about 458 of them. He did so. Some of them are still in violation as we speak. So what makes you think that the president will be thorough in showing that those who will be traveling, he will be able to take action against them? The very people that violated the code of conduct, they came back. Some of them rushed the next day. By the time they declared their asset, they were back on the job. So this is something that our country need to pay attention to. I think it's one opportunity we have to save so much money. I even take my advocacy further. Why do we need embassy in Guinea? Why do we need embassy in Sierra Leone, in Ivory Coast, even in Ghana? We're all using the same ECOWAS passport now. Why do we need embassies in these places? Why can't we have a desk at the foreign ministry where people can make us if they want passport or whatever? We will be saving a lot of money. Even when you go Europe. Why do we need embassies in these places? Now, people now can get their passport by going online. Whatever travel document you need, you can go online. We can use technologies to save so much money and divert a lot of this money in education. Tonmont High is still struggling as we speak with even chalkboards before we come to about class or computer for our students. But look at the kind of cars they're driving. The government cannot even enforce its own policy on what type of car government officials should drive. That's way too much for them, and they can't even enforce it. So, I mean, it's a good pronouncement.
2 minutes,
that will form a laundry list of good things they announce and that they will fail on miserably. And so it's just what it is.
Thank you.
Ali,
yes.
You're not hosting the show, man.
The Megan got talking for 10 minutes, man. We got time for all that.
Vanim Mame, welcome to the show.
Valentine, turn your device down or turn it off.
Mame,
I think I want to make a comment there because there is a good purpose for embassies, and
I'm coming, Chief. I'm coming. I don't know what's wrong with everybody from Lufa, Bond, Nimba, other places. When you come on this show, it's just hard for you to connect. Look at this man.
We got a problem.
Yeah, Mr. Fanny been sitting there all this time. Now call him. Look, yeah, here. Thank God, CIA, NSA people on your back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So I totally agree with Anthony when he talks about reducing expenditure for travel. We do not see enough if we're not realizing any benefit of travel. That is one of the key areas governments use to reduce expenditure. But he mentioned about having embassies. Do we need embassies? There's a significant reason for embassies. Embassies, first of all, they're supposed to be identifying business opportunities in these countries. They're supposed to be connecting with investors and local partners. They're supposed to be facilitating trade agreements. They're supposed to be supporting export, not just the mundane thing like passports and stuff like that. They're also supposed to be shielding against terrorism, cross-border crime, human trafficking. There's a lot of things that they should be doing, and that's why we created these. We have these embassies here, but now it's how expensive should they be? That is a question. Do we need ambassadors, or could we be satisfied with just council level embassies? So a lot of things that we're doing, it's now being simply done, but we need to examine what are our gains. And this travel is one of the things we need to really examine. It's not just the airplane ticket. We're paying per dime to those people for every day they're traveling. What is the gain? Could they not simply, like you said, like Anthony said, send a telex, send a message? Could they not preferably do that? Is it necessary that they leave the country? And if they're leaving the country in such frequency, how does that affect the running of the ministries? How does that affect the cabinet? So this is a key point to. I wish the president would cut down on other things as well. But that is just the lowest hanging fruit if you want to reduce expenditure. I'm good right there.
Great. Okay, guys.
Let me come in quick.
No. 1 minute. What Mr. C is he out of there?
He just left.
Okay, in the background. Okay, we're going to spend 1 minute each. 1 minute, exactly 1 minute. Because the next topic is so important. I want everybody to take a crack at it.
Yes.
The headline in Liberia now is the Senate Act private partnering for water, power, airport, LEC. The government have decided, Senate, the legislature have made up their mind that this is not sustainable by government. It has to be privatized. The proposal covers the Liberian Electricity Corporation, the Liberian Water and Sewer Corporation, the Rabat International Airport. Grand Crew Senator Mr. Batikwa, who chairs the Senate Committee on Construction and Investment, is driving initiative. Guys, this is huge.
Mr. Gimmer.
It will work. So
Mr. Gimmer. Mr. Gimmer, first of all,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not talking.
Wait a minute. You didn't know just talk anytime you feel like it.
Hold on.
No,
you got 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing, all right? You see, like, bro, will do some crazy thing, and then when it backfire on us, some of all who come and speak the truth, they all cost us out. What gave a lawmaker the right to determine anything about concession? It has to come from the executive. So that other thing that you're discussing is dead on arrival. But I want to give I want to give a young man here a prize. He says some facts. He did his due diligence. He came out with numbers that cannot be disproven. And this is one of the places where I have actually been disappointed in the government. I thought Joseph Boakai would have been a lot more different than all other government prior to the uniparty government at this particular moment. But this government, in some areas, is just being so wasteful without being considerate. I can't see the name why the reason why he will go everywhere around the world. Because remind you now, when he travels, the cost is more higher than even his vice president. So some of this little petty stuff, why go with 20 people, 15 people, when you can send some of your minister, your foreign minister, the most of these places JMB goes, the foreign minister should go to these places for two, three delegations. That's it. So this particular part, I'm telling you, the man nailed it. And all of these people, Mr. Eastman talking about practical things and like the Mozart. What kind of investor will get from Guinea to have embassy in Guinea? What did Guinea give you? So most of these things are all waste.
They will not invade your country.
You know, so you can have one embassy for West Africa, one embassy for East Africa, one embassy for South Africa. I don't care about enough too much. Yeah. You know, that's it. You don't even need to fill the embassy with all of the necessary stuff that you normally supposed to do. Let's forget about going through this blueprint and startup code. Sometimes you just change stuff. You change stuff from what you were trained to do, what you've been programmed to do, to something that you know is more appropriate for your society. Society is not static, it's dynamic. So you gotta change. You can't just keep the things like the top man and top man gave you. You gotta change. They're not working.
Thank you. Guys, let me see it. Let's give you another shot. Mr. Mande, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm enjoying the show. And happy Sunday to everyone.
You want to sit and just enjoy, or you want to participate?
Yeah, I want to chime in. Okay, yeah,
so
Anthony.
Hold on. We're running out of time here, so let's
go ahead.
Let's go with the privatization here. I think the Senate is up to something.
Can some of us get our 1 minute on this?
That's fine. When I come back to you, you just wrap it in all you want, but he has not spoken. Go ahead. We're talking about everything else, but I want you to start with, you can comment on anything else, but let's start with the privatization. I think this one makes sense.
Good. I'm doing well, thank you. All right.
Who's talking?
Folks, a few minutes to hop on. Mr. Nam is on, but he's just muted right now. He'll be back.
I think Mr. Nam.
Mr. Nam, we're in your CMC meeting. Please mute. We're in your CMC meeting on the show.
No one here without failure party.
I'm in a meeting you in. Go ahead, Mr. Mame.
Yeah, anyway, I want to go back to where you guys started from. And I'm so proud of my brother Ansoni for his research that he did, an in-depth research that cannot be disputed by anyone. And I don't want to hear people complaining because we elected an octogenarian to run a 21st century government. That's what you get. It took 3 years, 3 consecutive years. If this was America, this would be the last year before he leaves office because it's 4 years, it's a 4-year term. Luckily for him, it's a 6-year term, which in fact, I'm advocating for them to reduce to 4 years. But let's assume that it was 4 years so that in your 11th hour, you will be suggesting that people should reduce travel. And your travel restriction is not even something that you're considering your health travels because in fact, he should even go one step further. That every health travel, like he goes to hospital in America and other places as often as he gets sick. So there should be another restriction on travel from the country for health reasons. Let them use those monies that they use to travel to improve our health sectors or our medical centers so that we can be able to treat our leaders and our citizens in the exact same place within our country. These are some of the things that needed to have been done like in his first term. But again, we have an octogenarian who doesn't probably understand technology, and people have to beat it over and over in the minds of the government and the officials of the government for them to be able to come to realize that this thing is a waste for them. You imagine, they make him to California to receive an award that any one of you here can receive. He brought 20 some more ministers and government officials. All of them were waiting in California here. They didn't just come to California. They went to other places before they came here. Do you know how much it cost us? They're talking about 4 million, 5 million. You know how much 5 million can do? I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of that, but it is a waste. And to be honest, we're still making the same mistakes. And until we can change this MAGA-minded or MEGA-minded or mega, I don't know how to call it, government. This MAGA-minded government will continue to experience the same thing. We'll continue to experience and complain, including those who brought the government to power are experiencing the incompetence of the government, the lack of vision. What? Show me the vision. You had a vision of becoming a president. 12 years you sat down, you came in power. It took you 3 years to realize that it is a waste for you to carry all your government officials to everywhere when we got technology that can solve that problem. We got a far way to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Dr. Booty. You said you needed 1 minute. Go ahead.
Jerome, if Dr. Booty will let me, I gotta close because I'm
please go close because you got a hot mic. We got all your agenda on the other meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Booty, and
we're not even get 2% in the next election. So
what's wrong with the other man?
Thank you, Dr. Booty, for giving me the minute. And Alio, we will shock you. But it's been a great show. Thank you all very much. It's an opportunity whenever I come on here and associate with you guys. But I really believe that Dr. Joekai, I believe he is unfit. He's not fit anymore to serve as the HR of this government. He doesn't know the law, and he is bending the law to suit him. For that reason, I think the president should relieve him. On the president's travels, I agree with, I think it was Jimmy, who said the president is a traveler in chief. That is correct. This president has spent over $16 million on foreign travels. Well, how about he leads with example? I think Jimmy also said, there are virtual meetings. This president, even his cabinet meeting, sometimes he should let it be virtual. Let him lead by example and his people will follow him. But if he leaves this country every little opportunity he gets, I think this is a waste of the public airspace. Coming to announce this thing here. It is already in effect anyway. Since door time or beyond, before you leave the country, you got to get a president approval. That is something they do every day. So for him to come and announce it here, I think it's showmanship. It doesn't prove anything, but we'll see. I support Amara Kone. Musa Ability also made a call. Marvin Cole made a call that Josiah Joekai should be to come into the house and give reason why the law should be different. The law that he himself helped to usher in. So, but thank you all very much. Hope to be with you again on Sunday.
Thank you. Dr. Booty, go ahead.
Yeah, I think on the issue of the directive, look, I agree with Mr. Mame that the president took long, but I still want to commend him, right? We say sometimes better late than never. At least he's learning. Now we understand that he's very slow, right? That he needs 3 years to learn something. So we need to start teaching him the things now so that he can pick them up in the next year or two. I think he should go further, right? John Mahama became president of Ghana in January 2025. By July 2025, he canceled all fuel allowances for government officials, right? Within 6 months, right? He understood that was the biggest area of waste. 5 million savings cannot compare to how much we waste in scratch cards and gas slips. That's where the president needs to go if he really wants to make a dent. 5 million, that's what we'll get to Enfield to get prepared for Ebola, right? That's not enough money. Let the president go a bit further. Now that he's learned, he should go a bit further. Scrap all these gas slips. People take their government vehicle to GSA put gas, not GSA put gas inside. You mark down the mileage. They know how many miles you're supposed to drive before you come out to put gas again, right? No more gas slips. Scratch card. When I worked in Liberia, the company I worked for, we had a service with the phone company where all of our phones could call each other free, and we pay a fee every month. Do that for government phones. Anyone that needs to make call you with the government, you can call each other free of charge. We pay a fee to any of the companies every month. It will save us way more millions than the travel direct. But I want to commend him for at least learning and doing what he's doing now.
Wow. Let me go to let me see who's next. Let me go to Elvis. No, let me go to Elvis. Go ahead, then Tower. Go ahead.
This government 2 years, 5 months, not 3 years.
Let's start with the.
I just praise your government. Just take it.
Let's go with
the privatization.
The privatization of these things that we are talking about.
How Joe we had to pronounce that word?
Listen. Listen, privatization, man. People have done their work. They are saying since the establishment of the agency, they have never lived up to their dream. In fact, instead of being private enterprises to bring money into the government, they are siphonning money from the government. They are pillaging. So if that is the case, why don't we privatize them to somebody else who will give us money annually?
All right. Look, I'm in favor of privatization, but of course it has to have strong regulations, right? So if the government has the Freeport of Liberia, if they privatize it to a private company, they also have to have certain regulation on the range of how much they can charge, for certain things. Like if you bring a car that company in its wisdom can charge you $10,000 to free a car. Government has to have a range. They have to have certain regulations within reason, so that those private corporations that's running our ports and other entities are not price gouging us in the country. But I think privatization brings competition. It brings competence. It becomes for profit, and people try to maximize profit. So they're going to be more efficient. They're going to try to cut costs. So I think it brings a lot of benefit. But if government is not strongly regulating those sectors, it can lead to exploitation against the Liberian citizen. So I am in favor of it, especially the Freeport, and some other agency that could really benefit us if we have real experts who's coming to bring real expertise, and then the government, on the other hand, is regulating it, making sure that we're not being exploited as citizens. I'm in favor of it. I'll pass the mic.
Great. Taiwo, we are talking about the LEC, the Liberia Water and Sewer, the Rabat International Airport. These agencies have failed miserably, and the Senate is saying they should privatize them with regulation,
Okay.
obviously.
So look at what happened here. I have some in-depth stuff on this whole privatization. First, privatization is really not the way to go. Okay, privatization is relinquishing public asset to unaccountable tyrants. That is actually what privatization is. As the government of country supposed to be able to provide power for its people. That is the government's duty. It is not a place that the government is supposed to make profit. We try to follow. It was not always like this in the U.S. The corruption that came in the U.S. that decided to privatize everything, taking everything, handing it over to themselves, and we think that this is the way it's supposed to be. Power and everything was under the state, because it is the duty of the state to provide power, to provide water for its people. So let's look at the stuff that was privatized. Let's look at the port. What benefit is said to the Liberian people? Private people only extract from the country. That is all they do. Look at APM terminal. What value have they added to Freeport?
It's our biggest internal revenue stream.
No, what revenue stream? They're taking
It
out
is.
more
It's a
money to
fact.
Liberia. No, Elvis. Liberia was receiving more money from that port, and people could bring in. The economy was much better off. People could import easily. APM terminal came in and they softened the place. And the problem with Liberia, they will go ahead and privatize. Then the government still attach itself to that same private entity. Look, I'm familiar with the whole port. I have people there that work there in that area, and I go there. The government have its own charge. Why APM terminal? That is why you import anything that's very expensive. But let me go to power, because that's the main thing I want to speak of. Liberia built the Mount Coffee Dam in the 60s. It was set to generate 64 to 67 megawatts of power.
Something playing in the background, man.
Just imagine we're in the 60s. Then in 2020, in the 21st century, Liberia came back and built the same Mount Coffee to generate a mere 88 megawatts of power. They came in, they spent almost $500 million that they charged Liberia because there is a reason, because you keep saying private. These people are predators. They came in with almost $500 million for them to do the assessment, they said, the feasibility study. Then they came back with almost another $1 billion for them to put 4 turbines of 22 megawatt each. That is what you have in a FOL. That is something that a little neighborhood run that they put in there, and pretty much close like around $1 billion. Okay, and you can't even provide any power. Look at how the money was stolen because you keep saying private, and the people are not coming to help you. 122 megawatts a hydro turbine like the one that Liberia have range from 3 to 6 million. If you take the high end and say 6 million, one of them costs about all 4 of them cost about $24 million. If you want to take it step by step, then you say you get an engineering firm that's going to build it. If we want to say internationally, it's about 4 million. It's about let me see what my number.
We got 1 million, but I think I passed the mic.
Mr. Tao, those are not. They're not private. LEC is not privatized.
I'm talking about the port.
Guys, let's hurry up. We're running
Yeah,
out of time.
let me get in quick. Let me look for a pen.
No, come on, 1 minute. Let him land. Go ahead.
Okay.
But look, in short, what is built in Liberia, that Mount Coffee, if you look at all of the numbers on what they say they put there, after I spent time looking at it, it's about, if you go on the high end, it's about 344 million to renovate that place and have the same 4 turbines in there. Where did the almost 700 million or 600 million, where did it go?
Okay, guys.
In that same time, Guinea built of 450 megawatts.
Guys,
let's
the power. We have run out of time.
Yeah, we got.
Please, let's pass the mic, please.
Funny number you're throwing around.
No. But I hear people saying that the privatization, so they're not coming to help you. What we need to do is to hold the government responsible so that they can be able to provide these services for the people. You don't privatize it to where they only have all kinds of money.
Mr. Ismail, 10 seconds quick.
1 minute.
1 second. I've
gone. You got 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So I agree with Mr. Tao.
No, Calabu got to come on the show, man. Let Calabu come on the show.
On one thing. Privatization is not a substitute for good governance.
That's it. Eastman, 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. Privatization is not a substitute for good governance. Now, the argument for privatization.
Jimmy, 1 minute.
Jimmy, talk, man. Let Calabu come to the show.
Jimmy, 1 minute. Jimmy, 1 minute. Go ahead, Calabu.
Yeah, quick. This argument of legislature is put out is so laughable because if they argue that the corporations are now working on the business that they should privatize, they will might as well privatize the legislature itself because they don't work. They are the main problem. So maybe we need to privatize the legislature, privatize the executive mansion, because all the corporations
talking things that cannot happen.
Politically connected people.
Look, he's making a point.
Professionals there. They put politically connected people after each election, and then they go after them to send the money back to them. So they contribute to the failure of the corporations. So if the corporations are not working and it is the business of that, then let's privatize the entire executive mansion and the legislature. That's
that don't even make sense.
Okay, guys.
That's a freestyle time.
Jimmy, 1 minute.
Yeah, I will be short, very short here. Again, privatization is not a substitute for good governance. In other words, if you simply just change the identity of the beneficiary, so leave the public and go into private space, if it's not properly regulated, I think that was Morris was talking about.
Elvis, yes.
If it's not properly regulated, you have done nothing. So let's look at the argument for privatization. The only argument is it improves efficiency. Okay, that may be true, but again, if that organization is not transparent, if government can influence the owners and whatnot, if to be taking money off the top, then it will not be efficient. So privatization can work and it can't work. What we have to do is say why LEC, for instance. I like to go to LEC because I've worked there for years in transmission and distribution. Why LEC is not profitable. And we have analyzed that, believe it or not. Besides that, we charge very low, considering our costs and the revenue. There's a lot of theft going on. And you know who the mean people who don't pay? Government. Government they never used to pay their bills. So we have to individually analyze these weak institutions that we have, these weak organizations, and implement some strong measure. But there's lack of will. Good. This thing we're talking here, it's just talk. They talk in the boardrooms, they talk in the thing, and the next day they forget it. There's a lack of will to institute.
Let me come in 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Let's go. Close.
I'm close.
Yeah.
That's 3 minutes straight. Okay.
No. We give everybody 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Mr. Ismail just said, the government, all the people, the lawmaker that you're talking about now, breaking news. You know how much they owe LSE? They never paid. Okay, they're saying lawmakers. Secondly, they cannot go. Electricity, water, all of those things, those are national security issues. You can't just because it's done in Belgium, so it got to be done in America. In Belgium, the private company is owned by Belgium. Okay? In England, if a private electric company is there, it's owned by an Englishman. Show me how many Liberians who get $10 million that don't want to be president that will want to go in the private sector. Show me one. The other man came from Coca-Cola, they say you have $100 million. He's sure on a man day ballet, he must be president. He cannot invest in nothing else. I must Mr. The man ability say get the $2 million. Therefore, he must be president. He's not investing anywhere else. Who you go to? You go collect Chinese people from China, people from Europe to can't get your national security agency to them to run. So discussing privatization in this particular manner, I mean, it's a waste of our time. But it has been a wonderful show. I enjoy my time here with you guys. Let us not just accuse and throw numbers around and call people rogues unless we can prove it. In that government, as bad as it may seem to all of us, there are some very refined and good people in the government. So blanket accusation is not a helpful thing. So thank you guys.
Mami, go ahead, close. You always come in and show it.
Yeah, so yeah, we got some religious duties to perform on Sunday, so we sometimes come late. We have to, we have to balance the equation. But anyway, it was a nice show. Let me just start with the Josiah Joekai situation. Josiah is a joker. Josiah is one of those, he's one of the proponents of the "We I Can Never Be My President" campaign. This is a guy who was in denial. This is a guy who needs help, who saw an election that took place and the person became president by the mandate of the Liberian people with an overwhelming victory, more than the one that Josiah Boakai won. And yet, you will not recognize that person. This is a guy who is violating the Constitution. This is the guy who is violating the Code of Conduct, but they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Josiah Boakai is a complete violator and abuser of our Constitution. He's using it as his urinal and his bare pen. What do you expect of his ministers and governors and government officials? Exact same thing. All right. So when it comes to the issue of his restriction on travel, he needs to buck start with the president. Let the president stop traveling much. Let the president make the medical visits happen in Liberia, or at least in West Africa. Let the president cut down on the executive budget. His wife imagine the first lady got her own budget. What do we need a first lady to have a whole budget for?
Really?
All right. Please, I'm talking, I'm speaking, and not interrupt me. Please do not interrupt me.
Hey, they want a lot of all of that.
Let's go, man. Come on. Mommy, go ahead. Close. Let's go.
All right, thank you. So the president, first lady has an office and she has a budget. If you don't know, just go and do the research. And so I was saying that the president need to cut down on a lot of things, including government ministers having cars and they can afford their own cars. The legislature, other places, they need to cut down their budget so that the country can redeem these monies and be able to use it for the people that actually need it. Last thing is privatization. The Joey can say privatization is something that I will only accept if they can do the liberalization policy, make sure it is Liberianized. If Liberians are able to take over their agencies, that will make sense. But guess what's going to happen? Those in the legislature, those in the executive branch, as those who going to establish agencies right away, quick, so that they can start to siphon and funnel those money. But if there can be laws that will stop them from owning some of those companies, then we can be able to say, yeah, there will be regulation. Other than that, we just need a responsible government. We need a government that will provide complete oversight. We need people who have digital knowledge to be able to establish what they call control, system and control, to be able to regulate these agencies so that they can fund the government. Other than that, we don't need to prioritize these things. We just need a responsible government, and we have realized that this government is not responsible. This government is inept. This government is very, very reckless. And at the end of the day, the same thing we're trying to avoid is the exact same thing that we'll continue to see till 2029. Let's put this government out of power. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Booty, 1 minute quick.
Oh yeah, I'll try and do my quicker because I know Ali won't go to the bathroom. It's like you said. But I think just on the issue of Josiah Joekai, I disagree with my brother Elvis in terms of him saying that, and Mr. Kalebo Gonglo that said, he should apologize and reinstate. That's just a sliding slope, right? Because what that means is every time someone violates a law, they will go back and redo the punishment that other people got. So what happens if someone went to prison and died in prison? How do we restore that person if someone is now violating the law? So look, you break the law. If the punishment is to go, right? Let's just leave it at that. And if we want to change the law, we change the law. On privatization, I believe efficiency, effective governance is the only way forward, right? Even here in the UK right now, we're pushing to we take back a lot of private companies that Margaret Thatcher prioritized and put it back under government control, right? So if, again, I'm not saying that the West is better than us, but if they're trying to do it here, then clearly privatization, something that they advocate, is not working for them, then I don't think it will work for us. So we need to just be better. We need to respect the rules. We need to play fairly and put competent people in running our country's infrastructure. But thank you so much. Great show today. And yeah, look forward to next Sunday.
Elvis, take us out.
All right. God bless. See you next Sunday.
Thank you.
You see, the man is the man.
We
all love you, man.